Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage and my wonderful S123 station wagon 300 turbo diesel. I love this thing. I haven't made many videos about it because it's pretty much just driving, and it is slowly becoming my daily actually. It is fighting a little bit with the Renault 25 because that's also awesome. But winter is coming and this is going to be my winter car. And I do have some issues with it that I would like to fix. There's a lot of issues actually, but some of them are more important to get fixed soon than others. But I think I might end up actually getting a lot of issues fixed with the repairs that I hopefully will complete today, because I drove this car in the dark for the first time last week. In the summer, the days are very long in Denmark. The sun comes up and sets very early and very late. Therefore, I haven't really had the use for the headlights. In Denmark, you have to drive with the lights on all the time, but it's only when it's dark you actually need the light to see something. And it turns out that the lights on this car is shining pretty much straight down into the tarmac. I can only see 10, maybe 20 meters in front of me when I drive in the dark. I actually had to give up driving this because of that when it's dark. And much to my surprise, and it could be normal, but I'm just surprised about it. But there is actually adjustment for the headlights. Normally, at least in my brain, that's only needed when you have a lot of luggage in the rear of the car or a trailer on the hitch. But the thing is that the S123 station wagon got hydraulic rear axle, so no matter how much weight you put in the rear of the car, it will stay level. So I don't really understand why it needs an adjustment. But anyway, it does have an adjustment. It's vacuum controlled. Of course, that was just Mercedes thing. The problem is it's all the way down, and I don't know if the system works, so that's the first thing we need to figure out. I mean, it doesn't work right now, but we need to know if the circuit for the headlights is actually working. And if it is working, then we need to know why it's not getting the correct signal, vacuum signal. So we need to fix that. And maybe that would fix other things, because the central locking is also air controlled or vacuum controlled. That works, but I can only lock it up and down around 3 times. Then the vacuum will be depleted and I will have to climb in and open all the doors. So something tells me that the vacuum system is maybe having a big leak or something. At least it seems to have a hard time to fill the tanks. And the last thing is, I do have a bit of a weird shifting pattern on this car, especially driving it fast, which is almost not possible. But if I floor it, it will really have a hard time changing gears. It will just start to flare and then change gear. But as you can hear, it shifts and then it flares and then it shifts. And it's a bit slow to shift. And the transmission is also vacuum controlled and controlled by a rod, and of course the hydraulic pressure. But something tells me that the vacuum system is all weird on this car. So we are going to try to fix that. And the first issue is that there is supposed to be a sticker right there or on the other side showing me how the vacuum system is supposed to be put together. And it's missing. And it's not just a matter of Googling, because the cars are so different. I have a hard time to find a vacuum system exactly like this, because this doesn't have EGR valve. It doesn't have any vacuum going to the turbo or anything like that, so it's a bit weird. But what I did find was that, take a look at this. There are 2 pickups on the vacuum line. This is the vacuum line. It's coming from a vacuum pump down there, and it gives vacuum to the brake booster and all the other stuff, because a diesel engine doesn't really produce any vacuum in the intake. Normally on a petrol, it would just take the vacuum for the brake booster from the inlet. Not on a diesel, it got a pump down there. But there are 2 ports on this one, and that's the first thing that I find a little bit weird, because I worked on this car a couple of years back before I owned it. And take a look at this. Take a look at the handsome guy. And by the way, I think I'm wearing the same shirt, even though this is 1 year ago. It's been washed though. Anyway, take a look at right there. There's only 1 pickup on this one. So I think something has been messed up. Another thing that I find really weird is, take a look at this. I've never seen on Mercedes having so many ports. That could be normal though, but take a look at 2 of them. This and this goes down to this one, which is divided into, which then again is divided into 4. Why are there 2 going to the same port? This is just, it just seems so messy. So I think I'm going to take a lot of pictures of this and then try to simplify it and see if that works. But firstly, I need to know if the light adjustment even works. And after doing some research, I found out that this line right here goes into the switch inside of the car. And currently I have removed the switch and just coupled them together just to make sure that the switch is not faulty. And now let's just see if I can make it actually work by turning on the light. And then by using my vacuum pump. A vacuum pump is a very powerful tool if you own one of these old Mercedes. So I am now connected to the line going into the cabin. And if this works, then we know the system works for the light. We just need to know why it's not seeing vacuum. I'm going to apply vacuum now. Do you see? That is working perfectly on both sides, I might add. And now it's up to normal ride height, I guess. I just don't know why it's not seeing vacuum in there. Okay, so I have just been looking at the vacuum spaghetti and I noticed something very weird. This line down there goes to the shut-off valve on the fuel pump. So if this line sees a lot of vacuum, the engine will shut off. The problem with that is it's joined together with this connection that had that purple one that I just tested the headlight system on, connected to. So if the headlights was actually receiving vacuum to work, it would also see vacuum on the fuel on the shut-off valve. So as far as I understand, it would shut the engine off. The headlight would work, but it would shut the engine off. Then the vacuum would disappear, of course, and then the headlights won't work either. But it seems to just be put together completely wrong, this system. Okay, I'm trying to look at this vacuum system and trying to make sense of it all, and it makes absolutely no sense. So I think everything almost is wrong with this. I do know that the door locks is working. It's just running out of vacuum very quickly. And I know from previous experience with working with these that the yellow one and the 2 ones, the big yellow ones going into the cabin, is for that system. I do not know if it's fitted to the right thing out here. I doubt it. But that part of it is correct. And knowing that, I can see that there is the purple one coming out. That's for the lighting. And then there are 2 whitish ones. There's a blue stripe on one of them. And then there is a black one going to the modulator, actually. But the black one is going into the cabin and just ending in there, which I think is correct. I think there is one that goes into the cabin and is just wending to atmosphere. But the even weirder thing is these 2 right here, these are for the ignition, because when you switch the car off, it will send vacuum signal to the pump to switch it off. Therefore, 2 lines is going into the cabin. And it's these 2. It's got to be. And they are connected to the same port, so they get the same exact pressure all the time. So it's not going to tell the pump anything, because the pump shut-off is connected down here at a system that is interconnected with this, but it's not directly connected, so it won't alter anything. What I don't understand is, why does this car actually switch off when I turn the key? It is switching off with a bit of a delay. I thought that was normal, but maybe that's not normal. But for some reason, it is giving a little bit of vacuum when you turn the key. I don't understand why, because this has got to be wrong. I'm going to take a lot of pictures of this, and then I'm going to try to take everything apart and put it together the way that I think is correct. I'm going to go from this and then start to make a system up that I think makes sense. I actually think I'm going to use both of them. I found a vacuum diagram on the internet that is not completely like mine, but I'm going to try to mimic this and add the stuff that I have and remove the stuff that is not there on mine, and then try to do that. I'm going to start with this and add that to the rear one, to this one. This one is the closed one when the ignition is on. So I guess this is the line to the ignition, and then this is the return that goes to the pump. That's the first one that I will fit to this, and then I will take the return and fit to the fuel pump down here, the shut-off valve this way. The ignition now got vacuum, so it should be possible to switch the car off, and that's a nice thing to be able to do, I think. Like that. The next one I want to fit is the one that goes to the to all the door locks. It also needs power from here, like that, through the yellow filter. And then there's one more, which is supposed to go to the flaps for the heating system in there, but I don't think I have that, and that is a bit weird. So I wonder if the purple one that goes to the light also goes to those, because I don't have any more than that. So I'm just going to fit that, and hopefully that would also work like this. And down here on the modular, I'm going to go by feel, because I'm pretty sure that this filter should go straight into it. Or is it a restrictor? I'm not even sure. Oh, it's a damper. So as far as I know, this should go straight into the modular or modulator like that. And then according to the diagram I found, the venting one actually goes into the modulator in there. So it's probably just to not get crap into that. So I'm going to fit that back on. So maybe that was one of the very few correct ones. I'm really looking forward to trying this car out now, because it could probably really change dramatically the way this car changes gear and so on. What we have left to do is to fit this to the transmission, and what else do we miss? Oh yeah, we need to fit this to the transmission, down into this damper unit, and then this one should be fitted to this boss up here. I think this is more correct, and everything is different. So it's going to be exciting. I might end up clearing this up if it works, but let's just check the basics. I'm also interested in finding out if these works, because I believe they were working, but I haven't really checked. They are also vacuum operated, the flaps in there. Yeah, it's been summer, so I haven't been using it a lot. But let's turn on the lights, because it's important to see if the level goes up, and also if we can switch the car on, of course, and if we can switch it off. Let's try, and then let's keep an eye on that high beam also. Oh yeah, it goes up straight away. Just to demonstrate, I'm just gonna undo this. There we go. And then the other important thing, that works also. So the light is working now, and it switches off, and it does that way faster than it did before. So something was weird, which is understandable, because I don't even know or understand why it switched off before. But I still don't know if this system works. Let's try to see if I can hear anything. I think I have to investigate to find out if there's a vacuum line going to this, and if it is missing, because it would make sense that it's not there. I don't think it's sharing with this one, and I don't think it's sharing with the ignition either. So I'm just going to look around for that. Okay, so I thought that the flaps here was air controlled also, but take a look at this. It's just cable operated, completely like normal. So apparently I don't think this is air operated, but it's only the light and the ignition in here. So that makes sense for the lines that is going into the car. I think I fixed it. All I need to try is to see if I can fit this switch and make the light go up and down using that, because it got different settings. So let's try to fit that. Like so. I'm putting it up to number 1. It goes up. That's nice, it's working. Perfect. I'm just going to fit everything back together, and then we're going to do a test drive, because I'm very interested to find out how the transmission shifts now, because it's got to be completely different. But we're gonna have to wait until the morning because it's pitch dark outside and it won't be much fun for you guys to watch. So see you in the morning. Good morning. It's time to do a test drive in this Benz to see if there's any difference. I now know that the headlights work at least, but I am interested to find out how it shifts, because it was shifting quite weird before. It was flaring a bit and you had to alter the throttle to actually make it shift nicely, just letting it go a little bit. Under heavy acceleration, for instance, when I wanted it to shift, I just had to let go of the throttle shortly and it would shift. If I didn't, it would just flare and then shift. So this is going to be interesting. I don't expect it to be shifting very good though, because Michael, who I bought this car from, was adjusting the, it's not a Bowden cable on this one, it's a Bowden rod. This is the 722.120 transmission. So it's getting vacuum signal and the rod, and he has been messing with the rod quite a lot to get it to change right. He told me that he was constantly moving it and it felt like he was chasing the shift point, and then the day after it was a different place and so on. So I think I will have to do some altering to that also if the vacuum shifting is if it's shifting differently, and I expect it to do, because the vacuum modulator is going to see a completely different vacuum pattern now than it did before, now that it's connected up. I'm not gonna say right because I'm not sure, but different at least. Oh, yeah, that was a gear change. Quite low in the rev range and quite hard. And there, the next one. It didn't shift like this before, that's for sure. This is a very quick gear change, but not very pleasant. It's like it's like just dumping the clutch completely in gears and not feathering it in. I'm gonna find a place to park and just try to alter that, because I would like it to change a little bit later. I think it's changing too early in the power band, making it change a bit hard. It's very windy today. I shortened the cable or the rod by 2 turns. Let's see how it shifts. This is actually beginning to feel pretty decent. I think the first gear change was a bit rough, but the next ones were pretty decent. I'm just gonna try again. The shift down, the kick down is working. It was actually not working before. So something is definitely different now. But I don't like the shift from first to second, and I don't like the shifting down from third to first either. It seems a bit rough. Oh, but the shift from first to second is nice. Or second to third. This feels, I'm very close to a acceptable pattern. Well, I think this is a success. I think I still will have to alter it just a little bit. The rod, I mean. But I will do that along the way. I can always go and adjust it a bit. Currently it's so windy, so I don't like to adjust it because I'm afraid that the bonnet will smack open or down over my hands or something like that. So I'm gonna do that another day. But this is 100 times better than before, and I get absolutely no flaring under hard acceleration, which I did before, and it was really unpleasant. And the most important bit is the headlights are no longer just shining straight down into the ground, so I can actually see something at night. I'm not saying I got it completely right, but I'm pretty sure I got it a lot better. Just gonna try to do a 0 to 80 now that there is some temperature in the oil and all that, just to see how it changes under hard acceleration. I can't really get myself to floor it completely, but oh yeah, let's try. Oi, nice shift. Oh, it's shifting a little bit late from third to fourth, but other than that, it's decent. It's very decent. It's very decent. But as you can hear, it shifts and then it flares and then it shifts. Oi, nice shift. Right now I'm very happy with the improvement that I got on this one. It is 100 times better. The shifting is way better, that's for sure. Oosh, pothole, and a big one. Oof. Anyway, thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.